The large view screen aboard the U.S. Defiant showed the approaching alien vessels. Captain Samuel Wright stood tall on the bridge, trying to hide his nervousness. This was humanity's first contact with an advanced alien civilization, and everything had to go right. "Are communications ready?" he asked, glancing at Lieutenant Olivia Barnes. "Yes, sir. All channels open and translation software is running," she replied, her fingers moving quickly across her console. The Valkyrian ships were beautiful in a strange way. They looked like giant silver leaves with glowing blue veins running through them. There were 5 of them, each one at least 3 times the size of the Defiant. "They're hailing us," said Olivia. Samuel took a deep breath. "Put them through." The screen flickered, and a tall, thin figure appeared. The alien had bluish-gray skin, 4 yellow eyes, and a mouth full of small, sharp teeth. It wore what looked like ceremonial armor, with strange symbols carved into it. "I am Admiral Zaxvor of the Valkyrian Empire," the alien said, its voice oddly musical despite the menacing appearance. "You have entered Valkyrian space without permission." Samuel stepped forward. "I am Captain Samuel Wright of Earth. We come in peace and friendship. Our star maps showed this as unclaimed space." The alien made a sound that might have been laughter. "Unclaimed. All space within 50 light-years of the Valkyrian throne world belongs to the Empire. Your ignorance is not an excuse. We apologize for any misunderstanding," Samuel said carefully. "We are new to interstellar travel and seek only peaceful relations with—" "Silence," Zaxvor interrupted. "Your technology is primitive. Your ships are slow and weak. How did such creatures even reach the stars?" On the bridge, crew members exchanged worried glances. This wasn't going as planned. "Admiral," Samuel tried again, "we have much to offer in trade and cultural exchange. Earth has a rich history of art, science, and science." The alien laughed again, showing all its teeth. "Your fastest ship barely breaks light speed. Your weapons would not dent the hull of even our smallest scout vessel." Olivia whispered to Samuel, "Sir, I'm detecting energy buildups in their lead ship. They might be preparing weapons." Samuel nodded slightly, but kept his eyes on the alien. "Admiral, we have no hostile intentions. We simply wish to establish diplomatic relations." "The Valkyrian Empire does not establish relations with primitive species," Zaxvor said coldly. "You have 2 choices. Submit to Valkyrian rule as a protected territory, or face annihilation. Your planet would make a good mining outpost." The bridge fell silent. Samuel felt cold sweat on his back, but kept his expression neutral. "Surely there's a third option, Admiral. Mutual respect between independent." "There is no such thing as mutual anything with the Valkyrian Empire," Zaxvor interrupted. "We have ruled this sector for 10,000 years. Hundreds of species serve us. None are our equals." A new alien appeared beside Zaxvor, whispering something in his ear. The Admiral's 4 eyes widened slightly. "Interesting," he said. "Our scans show your planet has rich mineral deposits and a population of nearly 9 billion. Your kind might be useful as labor." "We are not available as labor," Samuel said firmly. "We are a free people." Zaxvor's face showed something like amusement. "Freedom is an illusion the strong allow the weak to believe in. You will learn this soon enough." He leaned closer to the screen. "You have 1 Earth year to prepare your planet for Valkyrian rule. When we return, we expect your full surrender. Any resistance will be met with force." The screen went black. "They've cut communications," Olivia said quietly. "And they're powering up their engines." Samuel stared at the blank screen, his mind racing. "Send all data back to Earth immediately. Priority channel." "Sir," said his first officer, "what do we do now?" Samuel turned to face his crew. "We go home. And we prepare. Because in 1 year, they're coming back. And I don't plan on surrendering our planet to anyone." In the corner of the bridge, Olivia Barnes watched the alien ships disappear into the distance. Her mind was already filling with ideas, unconventional, maybe impossible ideas, but ideas nonetheless. If the aliens thought humans were technologically primitive, perhaps that assumption could be turned into an advantage somehow. 1 year, she whispered to herself. We have 1 year to change everything. 5 years had passed since the Valkyrian ultimatum. The world had changed in ways no one could have imagined. Old enemies became allies, and all of Earth's resources were focused on one goal: survival. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a facility that didn't officially exist, Dr. Alan Mitchell stared at the holographic display. The blue glow lit up his tired face. He hadn't slept properly in days. Run the simulation again, he said to his team. Increase power to the shield generators by 12%. The simulation showed a ship unlike anything humans had built before. Its design broke all the old rules. It was both beautiful and terrifying. Sir, we've tried this configuration 3 times already, said Kyle Martinez, the lead engineer. The power core can't handle that much energy without overheating. Dr. Mitchell rubbed his eyes. Then we need a better cooling system. The Valkyrians will be back in 7 months. We don't have time for limitations. On the other side of the vast underground chamber, Lieutenant Olivia Barnes was examining a piece of twisted metal. It was a fragment from a Valkyrian scout ship that had crashed in the Mojave Desert 2 years ago. The alien crew had died on impact, but the technology they left behind was priceless. I think I found something, she called out. Dr. Mitchell walked over to her station. Look at this material. It doesn't just conduct energy, it stores it. What if we incorporated this into our hull design? Dr. Mitchell took the fragment, turning it over in his hands. This could work. It might be the solution to our power problem. A door opened at the far end of the facility. Commander Diane Russell entered, her uniform crisp despite the late hour. Everyone stood a little straighter as she approached. Progress report, Doctor, she asked. We're getting there, Commander. Lieutenant Barnes may have just solved our power distribution issue. Commander Russell nodded. Good, because we just received word that a Valkyrian scout ship was detected near Jupiter. They're early. The room fell silent. How many? Asked Olivia. Just 1 for now. Probably gathering intelligence. Commander Russell's face was grim. The President has authorized me to take command of the Genesis project effective immediately. We need to accelerate our timeline. Dr. Mitchell looked alarmed. But the ship isn't ready. We haven't even started construction of the actual vessel. These are all just simulations and prototypes. Then we'll build it in space, Commander Russell said firmly. The lunar shipyards are ready. All the materials have been gathered. We just need your final designs. Olivia stepped forward. Commander, I've been working on something that might help. She pulled up a new set of schematics on her tablet. It's an adaptive hull design. It can reconfigure itself during battle to redirect energy or repair damage. Commander Russell studied the design. This isn't in the official plans. No, ma'am. It's something I've been developing in my spare time, based on how the Valkyrian ships moved during first contact. Dr. Mitchell looked at the designs with surprise. This is brilliant, Lieutenant, but implementing this would require a complete redesign of the ship's structure. Then redesign it, Commander Russell ordered. Lieutenant Barnes, you're now heading up the whole design team. Yes, ma'am, Olivia said, trying to hide her excitement. A security alarm suddenly blared through the facility. Red lights flashed as armed guards rushed to secure the entrances. Security breach in Section 4, announced the automated system. Not again, Dr. Mitchell muttered. Commander Russell was already moving toward the security station. That's the 3rd attempt this month. Someone really wants to stop this project. Or steal it, Olivia added. There are people who think we should just give the Valkyrians what they want. That's not going to happen, Commander Russell said firmly. Not while I'm breathing. The alarm stopped as suddenly as it had begun. A security officer approached Commander Russell. Situation contained, ma'am. We captured an intruder trying to access the main computer. Interrogate them. Find out who they're working for." The officer nodded and left. Commander Russell turned back to the team. "From now on, we work around the clock. The project moves to the lunar facility tomorrow. Earth is counting on us." She looked at each of them in turn. "This ship, the U.S. Nemesis, is humanity's last hope. We will not fail." Dr. Mitchell and Olivia exchanged determined glances. 7 months to build the most advanced warship in human history. It seemed impossible. But then again, humans had always done their best work when faced with the impossible. The lunar shipyard was unlike anything built by human hands before. Giant scaffolding stretched for nearly a mile, surrounding the sleek shape of the U.S. Nemesis. Construction drones buzzed around it like metal bees, welding, assembling, and installing systems day and night. Chief Engineer Kyle Martinez floated in zero gravity beside the ship's main engine. It was a marvel of engineering. A fusion reactor coupled with Dr. Mitchell's revolutionary drive system. Kyle had added his own improvements to the design, making it even more efficient than the original plans. "How's it looking?" asked Commander Diane Russell, who had just arrived through the airlock. Kyle turned, his face lit with pride. "She's beautiful, Commander. The most powerful engine humans have ever built. We've incorporated the energy storage techniques from the Valkyrian wreckage. This ship will be faster than anything they've ever seen." Commander Russell nodded, her eyes scanning the massive vessel. "Will she be ready in time?" 2 more weeks for complete systems integration," Kyle replied. "That gives us a month to run trials before the Valkyrians arrive." They moved through the shipyard, passing teams of workers in spacesuits. Everyone moved with purpose and urgency. Earth's best minds had come together for this project. In the command center overlooking the shipyard, Olivia Barnes was working with Tactical Officer Jack Peterson. They were running simulations of the ship's defensive capabilities. "The adaptive hull works perfectly in the simulation," Olivia explained as Commander Russell entered. "When hit by an energy weapon, the hull absorbs the impact and redistributes it. It can even use that energy to power our own weapons." Jack nodded. "And the targeting systems are unlike anything we've had before. We can identify weaknesses in Valkyrian shields that weren't visible with our old sensors." Commander Russell watched the simulation with satisfaction. On the screen, a virtual nemesis evaded attacks from 3 Valkyrian ships while landing precise hits on their vulnerable areas. "What about the crew?" she asked. "Almost complete," Jack said. "We've selected the best from every nation. Dr. Natalie Wells will be our science officer. She's been studying the Valkyrian language and culture for the past 5 years." "Good. We need to understand our enemy." Commander Russell's communicator beeped. It was Dr. Mitchell. "Commander, we need you in the engine room. We found something in the Valkyrian technology we didn't notice before." Minutes later, Commander Russell and Olivia joined Dr. Mitchell deep within the ship. He was examining what looked like a small crystal sphere recovered from the crashed scout ship. "This appears to be some kind of quantum communication device," Dr. Mitchell explained. "The Valkyrians can communicate instantly across any distance. No delay like our radio signals." "Can we replicate it?" Commander Russell asked. "Better," said Dr. Mitchell with a rare smile. "We can use it to listen in on their communications. They won't even know we're eavesdropping." Olivia looked concerned. "But if it's quantum linked to their network, won't they detect any activity from our end?" "Not if we're careful," Dr. Mitchell replied. "We just listen, never transmit." A loud alarm suddenly blared throughout the shipyard. Red lights flashed. "Proximity alert," announced a voice over the intercom. "Unidentified vessel approaching lunar orbit." They rushed to the bridge of the half-completed Nemesis. The main screen showed a small Valkyrian scout ship moving into position on the far side of the moon. "They can't see us from that position," Jack said, checking the sensors. "The moon blocks their view of the shipyard." "For now," Commander Russell replied grimly. "But if they change course even slightly, they'll spot us, And the Nemesis isn't ready for combat yet. Maybe she doesn't have to be, Olivia suggested. Everyone turned to look at her. We could use the ship's hull to mask our energy signature, make ourselves invisible to their sensors. Dr. Mitchell nodded slowly. The adaptive hull could absorb our radiation output. In theory, we'd appear as nothing more than a collection of space rocks. Do it, ordered Commander Russell, and power down all non-essential systems. We need to hide until they leave. As the lights dimmed on the bridge, they watched the scout ship on the monitor. The fate of Earth depended on staying hidden for just a few more weeks. The Nemesis was humanity's secret weapon, one the Valkyrians couldn't be allowed to discover until it was too late for them to counter it. Hold position, Commander Russell whispered, though the Valkyrian ship couldn't possibly hear her. Just a little longer. The day had arrived, 1 year since Admiral Zaxvor had given Earth his ultimatum. The planet below was quieter than usual as people waited in their homes, watching news broadcasts and praying. On the bridge of the U.S. Nemesis, hidden in Jupiter's orbit, Captain Diane Russell reviewed her checklist one final time. The ship had been completed just 3 weeks ago. They had barely finished the basic flight trials, and some systems were still being adjusted. But there was no more time. Status report, she ordered, looking around at her crew. All systems operational, reported Kyle from engineering. Adaptive hull at 100%. Weapons charged and ready. Jack Peterson at tactical nodded. Defense grid is online. Targeting systems calibrated. Communications ready, said Lisa Chen from her station. We're monitoring all frequencies. Dr. Natalie Wells, the science officer, looked up from her console. I've been analyzing the Valkyrian communication patterns. Their fleet is definitely on approach. At least 20 ships, maybe more. Diane took a deep breath. And Earth's defenses. All orbital platforms are online, Jack replied. But they won't last long against a Valkyrian fleet. It had been decided that the Nemesis would remain hidden until absolutely necessary. The element of surprise was one of the few advantages they had. Incoming transmission from Earth Defense Command, Lisa announced. It's General Roy. The main screen flickered to life, showing the stern face of General Roy, Earth's highest-ranking military officer. Captain Russell, long-range sensors have confirmed the Valkyrian fleet has entered the solar system. They'll reach Earth orbit in approximately 6 hours. Your orders are to remain concealed until they begin their attack, then engage at your discretion. Remember, the Nemesis is Earth's best hope. Use her wisely. Understood, General, Diane replied. We won't let you down. As the screen went dark, Diane turned to her crew. This is what we've prepared for. Every simulation, every drill has led to this moment. I know the ship isn't fully tested, but I believe in her capabilities. More importantly, I believe in this crew. They waited in tense silence as the hours passed. Through their sensors, they watched the Valkyrian fleet appear at the edge of the solar system. The alien ships moved in perfect formation, 15 destroyers, 5 cruisers, and 1 massive command ship. That's Zaxvor's flagship, Natalie said, pointing to the largest vessel. It's nearly 3 times the size of the largest ships we saw last year. Eric Fisher, the weapons specialist, studied the Valkyrian ships on his screen. Their weapons are powered up, but not aimed yet. They're expecting Earth to surrender without a fight. A new message came through from Earth. The planetary leaders had sent a response to the Valkyrian ultimatum. Earth belongs to humanity. We do not surrender to threats. The response was brief, bold, and perhaps foolish. But it was honest. Humans would not bow down without a fight. They're increasing speed, Lisa reported, and they've launched smaller attack vessels. On the main screen, they watched as dozens of fighter-sized ships swarmed from the Valkyrian cruisers, heading toward Earth. The orbital defense platforms are engaging, Jack said. A series of bright flashes appeared near Earth as the platforms fired at the approaching fighters. Several Valkyrian ships were hit, but most continued forward. The platforms didn't stand a chance against so many targets. One by one, the defense stations went dark as they were destroyed. "Sir," Kyle called from engineering, "if we're going to act, it should be now." Diane stood up from her captain's chair. "Plot an intercept course. Maximum speed. All hands to battle stations." The Nemesis's engines hummed to life. The ship moved out from behind Jupiter's shadow and accelerated toward Earth. "Time to intercept?" Diane asked. 18 minutes at current speed, Jack replied. "Push the engines to full," Diane ordered. "Let's see what this ship can really do." Kyle looked concerned. "Captain, we've never tested the engines at full capacity." "Then today will be our test run," Diane replied firmly. "Humanity doesn't have the luxury of caution anymore." As the Nemesis rocketed toward Earth, the Valkyrian flagship sent a message to the planet below. Admiral Zaxvor's face appeared on screens worldwide. "Your time has expired," he said with a cold smile. "Your defenses are falling. Surrender now, and some of you may live to serve the Empire." Little did he know that humanity's real defense was already on its way. The Nemesis shot through space like a silver bullet. Its engines glowed bright blue as they pushed the ship to speeds no human vessel had ever achieved. On the bridge, the crew felt the vibration of the ship straining against its own limits. "We're approaching Earth orbit," Jack announced. "Valkyrian ships are directly ahead." "Any sign they've detected us?" Captain Russell asked. Lisa shook her head. "Nothing on their communications. They're focused on the orbital platforms." "Good," Diane said. "Let's keep it that way until we're ready." She turned to Eric at the weapons station. "Target the nearest destroyer. Wait for my command." The bridge was silent as the Nemesis closed in on the Valkyrian fleet. Through the main view screen, they could see the alien ships firing on Earth's remaining defenses. Explosions lit up the darkness of space as orbital stations fell one by one. "In range in 10 seconds, Eric reported. Diane took a deep breath. "All right. This is it. Drop the stealth field and fire all forward weapons." The Nemesis suddenly appeared on Valkyrian sensors as its adaptive hull shifted from stealth mode to combat configuration. Before the alien ships could react, the Nemesis fired a barrage of energy weapons that Dr. Mitchell had designed based on Valkyrian technology. 3 beams of brilliant white light shot from the Nemesis and struck the nearest destroyer. The alien ship's shields flared bright blue for a moment, then collapsed entirely. A second volley hit the unprotected hull, cutting through it like paper. "Direct hit," Eric shouted. "Enemy ship disabled." On the Valkyrian command ship, Admiral Zaxvor stared at his tactical display in disbelief. What was that? Where did that vessel come from? His second-in-command studied the readings. "Unknown ship, sir. It appears to be human." "Impossible," Zaxvor hissed. "Humans don't have this technology." Back on the Nemesis, Diane didn't wait for the Valkyrians to recover from their surprise. "Bring us about. Target the next 2 destroyers." The ship responded instantly, its maneuverability unlike anything built before. It twisted and turned with impossible grace, evading Valkyrian weapons fire that had finally begun to target it. "They're shooting at us," Jack reported calmly. "Adaptive hull is responding," Kyle called from engineering. "It's absorbing the energy and redistributing it." On the main screen, they could see the hull of their own ship shifting and flowing like liquid metal, the points of impact glowing briefly before the energy was channeled away. "Remarkable," Dr. Wells whispered. "It's working exactly as Lieutenant Barnes designed it." The Nemesis spun around and fired again, this time taking out 2 Valkyrian ships with precision strikes to their engine sections. The alien vessels didn't explode but drifted powerless in space. "We're being hailed," Lisa said suddenly. "It's coming from the Valkyrian flagship." "Put it through," Diane ordered. Admiral Zaxvor's face appeared on screen, his 4 yellow eyes wide with a mixture of anger and disbelief. "What trickery is this?" he demanded. "That can't be human technology." Diane allowed herself a small smile. "But it is, Admiral." Completely human, designed and built in 1 year since your ultimatum. Impossible, Zaxfor repeated. Your species is primitive. You couldn't advance this quickly. You should never have threatened us, Diane replied. Humans tend to become very inventive when our survival is at stake. The Admiral's face twisted with rage. All ships, focus fire on that vessel. I want it destroyed now. The communication cut off as 5 Valkyrian cruisers turned toward the Nemesis. Energy weapons and missiles launched toward the human ship in a deadly barrage. Evasive maneuvers, Diane ordered. The Nemesis moved with incredible speed, dodging most of the incoming fire. What hits it did take were absorbed by the adaptive hull, which glowed brighter with each impact. Hull energy reserves at 120%, Kyle reported excitedly. We can redirect that power to our weapons. Eric's fingers danced across his console. Targeting systems have identified a weakness in their cruiser design. The shield generators are vulnerable when they're firing at full power. Diane nodded. Then that's what we hit. Take us in closer. As the Nemesis dove toward the Valkyrian formation, a message was intercepted by Lisa. She turned to the captain with wide eyes. Ma'am, I just picked up a transmission between their ships. Translating now. She paused, then smiled. They're saying, that can't be human technology. What are we facing? Diane looked at her crew, pride evident on her face. Let's show them exactly what humanity is capable of. Admiral Zaxfor pounded his fist against the arm of his command chair. 3 of his ships were disabled, and the human vessel was still evading their attacks. This was not how the invasion was supposed to go. I want that ship, he shouted. Redirect all cruisers to pursue it. Capture it intact if possible. I need to know how they built such a vessel. On the Nemesis, Lisa intercepted the new orders. Captain, they're changing their attack pattern. All major ships are moving to surround us. Diane nodded. She had expected this. Good. They're taking the bait. She turned to Jack. Set course away from Earth. Maximum speed. Let's see if they follow. They're following. Dr. Wells confirmed as the Nemesis shot away from Earth orbit. All 5 cruisers and the command ship have changed course to pursue us. What about the remaining destroyers? Diane asked. Still heading toward Earth, Jack replied. Diane frowned. We can't let them reach the planet. Eric, target the lead destroyer's engines. Disable it, but try not to destroy it completely. Eric fired a precise burst that hit the destroyer's main propulsion system. The alien ship spun out of control, colliding with another destroyer nearby. Both ships were knocked off course. The other destroyers are slowing down, Lisa reported. They seem unsure whether to continue to Earth or join the pursuit. That gives Earth's ground defenses more time, Diane said. Now let's deal with our followers. The Nemesis accelerated toward the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. The 6 Valkyrian ships followed, firing continuously. Most shots missed as the human ship weaved between asteroids with impossible agility. Their ships are too large to follow us through the densest parts of the belt, Jack suggested. Exactly what I was thinking, Diane replied with a smile. Take us in. The Nemesis dove into a thick cluster of floating rocks. Its smaller size and superior maneuverability allowed it to navigate the narrow gaps. The Valkyrian cruisers had to slow down and find wider paths, spreading out their formation. Captain, Lisa called out, I'm intercepting their tactical communications. I've got their attack patterns and shield rotations. Dr. Wells joined Lisa at her station, helping to translate the alien language. They're coordinating their attacks. Each ship will fire in sequence to prevent us from adapting to their weapon frequencies. Diane thought quickly. If we know when each ship will fire, we can turn to face them with the strongest part of our hull. Kyle's voice came through from engineering. Captain, I've been analyzing their weapon impacts on our hull. Each hit actually makes our shields stronger as the adaptive material learns the energy pattern. So we want them to hit us? Eric asked, sounding confused. In a controlled way, yes, Kyle replied. If we can take hits from their weaker weapons, Our hull will adapt to resist their stronger ones. Diane made her decision. New plan. Lisa, tell us which ship will fire next. Jack, maneuver us to take those hits on our forward section. Eric, focus all weapons on the Valkyrian flagship. The next few minutes were tense as the Nemesis executed this risky strategy. The ship deliberately positioned itself to absorb fire from the smaller cruisers, its hull glowing brighter with each impact. Hull energy reserves at 200% and climbing. Kyle reported excitedly. Now, Diane ordered when the flagship was in position. The Nemesis released all the stored energy in a massive burst that struck the Valkyrian flagship's forward section. The alien vessel's shields collapsed immediately, and its hull buckled under the impact. Direct hit, Eric shouted. Their main weapons array is offline. On his damaged flagship, Admiral HFY watched in horror as warning lights flashed across his bridge. Smoke filled the air as systems overloaded. How is this possible? He demanded. One human ship cannot defeat a Valkyrian battle group. His second-in-command looked up from a damaged console. Sir, the human vessel is hailing us. HFY hesitated, then nodded. Captain Russell's face appeared on his screen. Admiral, she said calmly, your flagship is crippled. Your cruisers are outmatched. I suggest you withdraw what remains of your fleet and leave Earth space. HFY hissed in anger. Valkyrians do not retreat. Then surrender, Diane suggested. We have no desire to destroy your ships if we don't have to. This offer of mercy confused the Admiral more than anything else. In the Valkyrian Empire, showing weakness to an enemy was unthinkable. Before he could reply, one of his cruisers exploded. It had ventured too close to the Nemesis and received the full force of its weapons. The choice is yours, Admiral Diane said. Withdraw, surrender, or be destroyed. For the first time in his long military career, Admiral HFY gave the order to retreat. 3 months had passed since the battle at Earth. The planet celebrated its unexpected victory, but Captain Diane Russell knew the war was far from over. The Valkyrian Empire would not accept defeat so easily. The Nemesis floated in Earth orbit, undergoing repairs and upgrades. Inside the ship, the command crew gathered around the conference table. The Valkyrians have pulled back to their core systems, Dr. Wells explained, pointing to a star map. Our scouts report they're building new ships, bigger ones, specifically designed to counter the Nemesis. Jack frowned. How long until they return? 6 months, maybe less, Dr. Wells replied. Kyle leaned forward. But we'll be ready for them. I've made improvements to our engines and weapons based on what we learned in the battle. Diane listened quietly, then stood up. We won't wait for them to come back. Everyone turned to look at her in surprise. What do you mean, Captain? Olivia asked. I mean we take the fight to them, Diane said firmly. The Valkyrians think they're safe in their territory. They don't expect us to follow them home. Eric smiled slowly. A surprise attack. I like it. Not just an attack, Diane corrected. A mission to end this war before it costs more lives. Earth Command has approved my plan. We're going to the Valkyrian throne world. The room fell silent as the crew considered the boldness of this plan. That's deep in their territory, Lisa said finally. We'd have to pass dozens of their worlds. Patrol ships, sensor stations. Which is why they won't expect it, Diane replied. Dr. Mitchell has developed improvements to our stealth systems, and Dr. Wells has been studying their patrol patterns. Dr. Wells nodded. There's a route that could work. It would take us through the Nexari system. The Nexari? Jack asked. Aren't they another species conquered by the Valkyrians? Yes, Dr. Wells confirmed. According to Valkyrian records, they'd been under Imperial rule for over 200 years. They might be allies if we approach them correctly. 2 weeks later, the upgrades were complete. The Nemesis departed Earth orbit with little fanfare. Only a few high-ranking officials knew its real mission. To the public, the ship was simply on a patrol mission. The journey to Valkyrian space took nearly a month. The Nemesis moved cautiously, using its advanced stealth systems to avoid detection. They passed Valkyrian outposts and patrol ships without being noticed. When they reached the Nexari system, Diane ordered the ship to remain hidden behind the system's outer moon. "Scan for Valkyrian ships," she ordered. "2 patrol vessels in orbit around the main planet," Jack reported, "and a small outpost on the far moon." "Open a secure channel to the planet's surface," Diane said to Lisa. "Let's see if the Nexari are interested in a conversation." It took hours before they received a response. A face appeared on the main screen, vaguely reptilian with large, sensitive eyes and a crest of feathery spines. "I am Seer Vextal of the Nexari Resistance," the alien said cautiously. "Your transmission claims you are enemies of the Valkyrians. Prove it." "We are from Earth," Diane explained. "3 months ago, we defeated a Valkyrian invasion fleet. Now we're taking the fight to their home territory." The Nexari's eyes widened. "You defeated a Valkyrian battle group. Impossible." "Yet here we are," Diane replied with a slight smile. Lieutenant Gray Harrison, who had been studying Nexari culture, stepped forward. "Honorable Seer, we seek passage through your system, and any information you might share about Valkyrian defenses ahead." The Nexari was silent for a long moment, studying them. "The Valkyrians claim humans are primitive savages. They've shown us images of your world, threatened us with stories of your violence. And yet it's the Valkyrians who conquer and enslave," Diane pointed out. "True," Vextal admitted. "Meet me on the surface. There is much to discuss." The next day, Greg led a small team to the planet's surface. They met with Vextal and other Nexari resistance leaders in an underground chamber. "For 2 centuries, we have fought the Valkyrians in small ways," Vextal explained. "But we never dared dream of true freedom." "We can help each other," Greg suggested. "Our ship needs safe passage. You need freedom." "What you propose is dangerous," another Nexari said. "If the Valkyrians discover our assistance—" "They won't," Greg promised. "And when we reach their throne world, the Valkyrian Empire will never be the same again." After hours of discussion, the Nexari agreed to help. They shared detailed maps of Valkyrian patrol routes and sensor blind spots. Most valuable of all, they offered their own stealth technology, perfected over centuries of hiding from their oppressors. "Our people have learned to bend light and radiation around objects," Vextal explained as Nexari engineers installed their devices on the Nemesis. "Even Valkyrian sensors cannot detect what their light does not touch." With this new advantage and the knowledge provided by the Nexari, the path to the Valkyrian throne world was now open. The heart of the Empire awaited. The Valkyrian throne world glowed like a blue jewel in the darkness of space. Massive orbital stations surrounded it, and hundreds of warships patrolled nearby. It was the most heavily defended planet in the galaxy. Yet the Nemesis slipped past it all, invisible thanks to the Nexari stealth technology. The human ship moved silently toward the largest space station, the Imperial Command Center where the Valkyrian Emperor and his council were meeting. "We're in position," Jack whispered, though there was no need to be quiet in space. Diane nodded. "Status report. Stealth systems functioning perfectly," Kyle reported from engineering. "They have no idea we're here." Dr. Wells looked up from her console. "According to the information from the Nexari, the Emperor is hosting the Grand Council today. Representatives from all 27 Valkyrian-controlled worlds are present." "Perfect timing," Diane said. "Lisa, are you ready with the transmission?" Lisa nodded. "Ready, Captain. It will broadcast to every ship and station in the system simultaneously." Gray Harrison and a team of 6 crew members, including Olivia, were preparing in the shuttle bay. They wore specially designed suits incorporating Nexari stealth technology. "Remember," Diane told them over the comm, "this is not an assassination mission. We're here to deliver a message and force a surrender." "Understood, Captain," Gray replied. "Team is ready." Diane gave the order. "Begin Operation Daybreak." The shuttle silently departed the Nemesis and approached the massive space station. Using access codes provided by the Nexari, they bypassed the outer security and docked at a maintenance airlock. Inside the station, the team moved like ghosts through the corridors. The few Valkyrians who spotted them were quickly subdued with stun weapons. Within 20 minutes, they reached the central control room overlooking the Grand Council chamber. Below them, the Valkyrian Emperor, larger and more impressive than even Admiral Zaxvor, was addressing the assembled representatives. Zaxvor himself stood nearby, his armor damaged from the battle at Earth. "The human threat will be eliminated," the Emperor was saying. "Our new fleet will crush their planet and show the galaxy that none can stand against the Empire." Greg nodded to Olivia, who connected their systems to the station's controls. "We're in," she whispered. Back on the Nemesis, Lisa received the signal. "Captain, the team is in position." "Execute Phase 2, Diane ordered. Suddenly, every screen and holographic display throughout the Valkyrian system changed. The face of Captain Diane Russell appeared before the startled aliens. "Attention Valkyrian Empire," she said calmly. "This is Captain Diane Russell of Earth. Your throne world is currently surrounded by human forces." In the council chamber, the Emperor roared in outrage. "Impossible. Find that transmission source." "Your defenses have been compromised," Diane continued. "We could have chosen to destroy this station. Instead, we offer terms of peace." The Valkyrian security forces rushed to respond, but found their weapons systems offline, disabled by Olivia's code. In the control room, Greg and his team revealed themselves, deactivating their stealth suits. "The humans are here," a guard shouted in panic. The Emperor turned to Admiral Zaxvor in fury. "You said they were primitives. You said they could not threaten us." Zaxvor had no answer. He stared in disbelief at the humans who had somehow penetrated the heart of the Empire. Greg stepped forward into the council chamber, his team behind him. "Your Majesty, the war is over. Earth does not wish to destroy the Valkyrian Empire. We offer a different path forward." "What could primitives offer us?" the Emperor snarled. "A true alliance," Greg replied. "Not domination, but cooperation. Earth has developed technologies your scientists thought impossible. We're willing to share them with peaceful species across the galaxy." To demonstrate, Olivia activated a small device. A hologram appeared showing the Nemesis and its revolutionary systems. "This is just the beginning of what humans can create," Greg explained. "Imagine what we could build together instead of wasting resources on war." The representatives from other worlds murmured among themselves. Many had chafed under Valkyrian rule for centuries. One of them, a representative from a world called Trell, spoke up. "The humans defeated a Valkyrian battle fleet with one ship. Perhaps we should listen to what they offer." Over the next hours, as more representatives voiced support for peace, the Emperor's position weakened. Finally, he had no choice but to agree to negotiations. 1 month later, representatives from 28 worlds, including Earth, gathered again. This time they met as equals to sign the Articles of the Galactic Alliance. The age of Valkyrian domination was over. On the observation deck of the Nemesis, Diane stood with her crew, watching the signing ceremony on a nearby station. "I still can't believe we did it," Kyle said quietly. Diane smiled. "Never underestimate what humans can accomplish when we work together." In a holding cell, Admiral Zaxvor watched the ceremony with bitter eyes. "That can't be human technology," he had once said. He had been wrong. It was very human indeed.